of resources and strategies to help your child at home from pre-K through fifth grade. And as Alexis earlier mentioned, we are recording this, so this will be available after the meeting tonight. We're going to be making it available to all of our principals in case they want to use it in a certain way. But for you as parents and guardians, feel free to go back and watch certain sections of it and be able to better support your child at home. So thank you, first of all, to all of our partners that have joined us here. We've got preschool and early learning. We've got our family and community engagement. And as I mentioned earlier, our division of learning team. So without any further ado, I'm going to kick it off to one of our innovation specialists, Mr. John Grigori.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening. I'm John Grigori, Instructional Technology Specialist with Henrico. Today, we're going to cover a variety of elementary resources for learning, many of which are available online digitally. The path for accessing resources digitally starts with a device your learner is issued based on their grade level. For example, in kindergarten and first grade, iPads, and second through fifth grade, Chromebooks. After logging into the device, head to Clever, Henrico's single sign-on portal. With Clever, you and your learner do not need to remember a different set of usernames and passwords for each resource. From Clever, you'll have access to a custom list of resources based on your learner's school, grade, and teacher. Clever is like a virtual ID badge for your students that provides single sign-on access to many of the digital resources we're sharing during this session. From the HTTPS device, open Safari on the iPad or the Chrome browser on a Chromebook and go to clever.com/in/Henrico. And in some of our devices, like the iPad and the Chromebook, that is a preloaded tab that opens when you open those browsers. If asked, choose Sign In with Active Directory, which is a system that remembers who originally logged into the computer and saves time for typing in your learner's username and password over and over. In the example you see on the screen, once a student is signed into Clever, they have access to a customized list of resources like BrainPop, there's Smarty Ants, and the first resource that we're going to be learning about tonight, Dreambox for Math. To tell us more about mathematics resources, here is Vicki Boadar, our elementary math specialist, to discuss supporting mathematics at home. Vicki?
Thanks, John. Mathematics should be about sense-making by looking for patterns, thinking flexibly, and problem solving. One way to support mathematics at home is to get your students talking about mathematics. Have them explain their strategies and justify their solutions. Playing games is a way to build problem solving and flexible thinking skills. Have your students keep score when you play dice games, card games, or other strategy games. Asking questions to help students understand instead of providing step-by-step instructions helps students to own their learning. And you can see some suggested questions on the screen. Dreambox is an adaptive program that focuses on number sense and computation skills. The program adapts to the strategies and decisions that students make throughout each lesson to determine the next activity for each child's learning sequence. When students are successful, they'll move on to more difficult content. When they struggle, the program will step them back to provide instruction where there are gaps in understanding. In order for the program to effectively adapt and adjust, students should be encouraged to try each problem and persevere to complete each lesson. Students should work independently in the program. If an adult helps them too much, the program will adapt to the adult skill level and may present content that is too difficult for the student. If a student needs help, they should listen to the audio directions again and click on the question mark to get the program assistance. The goal is for students to complete 5 lessons each week. Each lesson should take about 10 minutes to complete. While teachers may suggest different time frames in which to complete the lessons, students should be spending about an hour in the program over the course of the week, either in class or at home, to complete the 5 lessons. Now I'm going to pass this off to Erin King with preschool.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Erin King, and I am Early Learning Preschool's coordinator for student data and digital resources. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to share a little bit about Imagine Math. Imagine Math is used in preschool. It is an online, adaptive, supplemental math program that covers the skills and knowledge for future success in math. Your student will have access to this resource very soon. After the students complete the placement benchmark in Imagine Math, The program will provide an individualized pathway to support math concept development, reinforced by visual models, stories, memorable songs, and intentional vocabulary. There is instruction and remediation inside the program that helps students as they navigate new material. Since this program is adaptive, please resist the urge to assist them with answers or the material may become too difficult. Imagine Math uses artificial intelligence that works as a built-in tutor to provide additional support for students by giving extra help or explanations to guide and teach students. If the program believes the child is answering questions independently, adjustments will be made to lessons. If a student needs help with knowing how to navigate the app, clarifying or repeating directions, or how to use the buttons, please do help in those areas. You can always revisit any instructional areas after the session with your child to support concept understanding by practicing counting, involving your child in math activities around the house like cooking, matching socks, shopping together at the grocery store, sorting and categorizing, etc. Imagine Math provides student incentives to support progress and engagement as they navigate the lessons to help with motivation. The lessons align with Virginia's Early Learning and Development Standards, a comprehensive set of standards for 4-year-olds, which are similar to the standards of learning for K-12. It is recommended for students to access Imagine Math for about 15 to 20 minutes at least 3 times a week to support building foundational math skills, which is being supported by your classroom teacher as well. And to talk about supporting your pre-K learner at home. There are so many ways that families can support their pre-K students' learning and development from home. First and foremost, all caregiver interactions are valuable and important during this critical time in your child's development. Not every moment has to feel academic in order for it to be enriching and meaningful to your student. Our pre-K teachers have provided and will continue to provide learning materials and opportunities for at-home enrichment. Materials include, but are not limited to, books for your child to keep at home, magnetic letters and numbers, and suggested activities which correspond to learning taking place in the classroom. In addition to these items, make intentional efforts to include your child in home tasks and responsibilities, as I mentioned earlier. So much learning can take place when you grocery shop, sort laundry, run errands, and cook food with your child. Your student will also develop a sense of autonomy and independence while also practicing practical and academic skills. We have also developed a collection of questioning prompts linked in this presentation to use as conversation starters with your student. These open-ended questions are the basis for developing your student's critical thinking and higher order thinking skills. Finally, all the content specialists here have great recommendations for supporting learning, and this includes pre-K students as well. Thank you so much for being our partner in your child's learning journey. Next up, we have Alyssa Strauss, our elementary social studies specialist.
Thanks, Erin. Hi, I'm Alyssa Strauss. I'm the elementary social studies specialist, like she said. And in social studies, we're really focusing on our community, our state, our country, and our world. And students are naturally curious about that world around them. And at home, you can build on that natural curiosity and talk with them. You can talk about people, places, events. You can look at and discuss images and videos you see, because those are primary sources. You can visit either virtually or in person, some of the wonderful museums, parks, and exhibits we have access to. Talk about current events or events of the past with your students and have discussions about who's telling the story, who might be represented, and who might not be represented. We also have 2 amazing digital resources that you can get to on Clever. The first one is new this year, and it is 5 Ponds, and it is an e-text for grades K through 4. It is available to you on Clever, but you can also ask for a password from your child's teacher if you would like to get it directly on your computer. And it's available with and without audio. And one of the great things about 5 Ponds is you can see all grade levels K through 4. So if you want to go back and see previous grade levels or go ahead and see future grade levels, you can see all of them K through 4. We also have Newzello, which is a essential subscription that curates great nonfiction content, current events, articles, primary sources, opinion pieces, biography, and so much more. And they are all from actual sources like the Washington Post, Smithsonian, and they're available at 5 reading levels. They have read aloud feature enabled, and then also some of them are available in Spanish, and it really helps level your kids and helps them find reading material that works for them. And next up, we have Karen Hughes, the elementary science specialist.
Hi, as Alyssa said, my name is Karen Hughes. I'm the elementary science specialist for Henrico. So science is all around us, and there are many opportunities for your students to practice scientific inquiry skills outside of the classroom setting. At home, you can encourage your students to make observations and ask questions about the world around them. For example, as you're going for a walk in the fall, your student may notice that the leaves are changing colors or that they're falling from the trees. Students are naturally curious and may ask, why is this happening? Have your students record their questions and support them as they seek answers through reading books, watching video clips, making observations, or conducting science experiments. After gathering information, encourage your student to share what they have learned through writing or discussing. As students are seeking answers to their questions, Discovery Education Science is a great resource to support their research. Discovery Textbook is a digital resource available to all K-5 students through Clever. Discovery includes interactive explorations and glossary terms, as well as virtual labs, where students can practice with scientific inquiry skills. Discovery also has a variety of text for students to read and videos for students to watch to learn more about a particular science topic. And now I will pass it to Christina Saunders.
So English language arts encompasses reading, writing, phonics, speaking, listening, all those wonderful language arts skills. And we have multiple opportunities for your child to interact with text each day. On the screen here, I have got some pictures of some different text available for students to interact with. Students can self-select. They can choose a book to read from classroom libraries, from the school library, or from Sora, one of our newest digital resources. The teachers read aloud books to students across the school day, both in language arts and in content areas, and I'm excited to report that we do have some new books coming into classrooms to support that. We also have decodable text that help our beginning readers to really show what they know when they're trying to use their new decoding skills, as well as level text that supports students as they read in a small group. We also have text that supports content area, as we learned with the science and the social studies slide. We have 5 ponds and we have discovery learning, which integrates text into different content areas so we can use our language arts skills as we read authentic text. And we also have our digital resources for language arts. Language arts has 3 key digital resources. We have Lexia, Smarty Ants, and Achieve 3000. Some ways that you can support language arts at home includes having your students read and write for authentic purposes, such as helping to write grocery notes, to write notes to family members or friends, and to write letters. Even emails would work for that. Reading not just to self, but read to your family members, read to a sibling, read to a grandparent, read to a family friend. Have them read for an authentic purpose so they have that audience. Record themselves reading using a phone or a computer so that students can hear how they sound. That helps them work on things like phrasing and expression when they read. It also helps with all those fluency aspects so that their reading becomes smooth and automatic. Reading a chapter book together at home so that you can talk about it as a family or as a group is another way to really bring literacy to a different level. And playing alphabet games, such as I'm going on a picnic and I'm going to bring something that starts with an A, and then the next person would go on a picnic and bring something that starts with a B. So students are kind of thinking about the order of letters and that beginning sound. Also, playing with sounds is something that's really helpful for early learners. So if you are in a grocery store line or waiting in the car, practice rhyming. Give your student a word and see if they can come up with a word that rhymes, such as bake, take, rake. Or make a word chain by changing that first letter of a word to make a new word. So if I have the word cat and I say change it to a word that begins with a M sound, and can your students say it's mat? So all of those sound play games help build that early phonological awareness skill that's going to help your student be successful with reading and spelling. So as I mentioned, we have 3 digital resources. Smarty Ants is a resource that we're using pre-K and in kindergarten. And this supports phonics. It is computer adaptive, which means it's going to start with a placement test, and students are going to be placed in a level that's appropriate for where their knowledge currently is. They're going to spend about 15 minutes in Smarty Ants 2 to 3 days a week. They get to create an avatar. They get to play games to earn coins and to earn prizes for their avatar. There's also a daily wolf that comes out that your teacher can send to you if you provide them with an email address. We have Lexia Core 5, which is used by 1st through 5th graders, and this supports 6 different areas of literacy, such as phonics, phonological awareness, vocabulary, comprehension, fluency. Students spend 15 to 20 minutes, 2 to 3 days a week in this product as well. It's also computer adaptive, so students take a placement test, and it goes ahead and levels them where they need to be. Each level of the program reflects a different theme, such as an Amazon rainforest or a visit to China, and students have choice within each level as to which activities they'd like to work on first. So they can work on comprehension before they work on phonics or vice versa. The last digital resource that I want to share is Achieve 3000. This is another computer adaptive program. This one is for 4th and 5th grade students. In this resource, students take a placement test which determines a reading level called a Lexile, and then students are have the opportunity to read articles within this program that are on their Lexile level. So in this way, the reading is customized to the student's specific reading level and needs. And that concludes our presentation. So we'd like to open it up if anybody has any questions for us.